had such a strange relationship with comedy over these past few years where like and it's mostly like I think my relationship with the audience is the same as it's always been, you know. I can make the crazy shit work a lot of times, but sometimes it doesn't. And I feel like there's been this shift from like my peers that are comedians and like the people booking shows and, you know, in charge of venues that like even when it's the same material that they've seen like work really well before, if it happens to be a crowd that isn't into it that time, they're upset with me and like, you know, make me feel like I did it on purpose.
Right.
And I have no
worked before.
Like, I have no idea what to do about that. Like how to, because there are people that are really convinced that like I still intentionally destroy shows for enjoyment. And I don't. I understand why you think that, but I'm telling you, I do not do that.
Well, I mean, you do rely heavily on the crowd being on board.
Yeah.
What you're saying. But I feel like a lot of comics do that now.
Yeah.
Have you thought like, I've learned like, it's a theory, I guess, like that, like certain things work in certain territories. You know, like we were talking about it last night. Me and some of the comics that Nashville's more like a cleanish comedy city.
Yeah.
And then Austin. Have you thought about?
I've thought about if
hanging out?
Yeah, I've thought about if I move somewhere, that would be where I go.
Because I feel like your style is what Austin is doing right now.
Yeah.
You know, like let's make the weird work.
Yeah.
You know, like you're going on a journey with me, but I need you on board.
Yes.
And I feel like Austin's more geared towards that. Because a lot of people are very like I've never had people tense up on me because, you know, I don't really talk about things, and I've had some people tense up on me lately. So I just feel like it's the times. Right. You know, like audiences had to kind of relearn how to be audiences after COVID.
Right. Yeah.
I think they're a little more. I think people are a little more quicker to go than they were before. You know, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if they're like quicker to go. I think it's just they do that about different stuff. Like I think it's just what it is that does it always. But I'm always like trying to figure out what it is that does that and then do it. But it's so I can do that first and then try to win them back because that's the trick that I'm obsessed with. But
that's the correct term. Yeah, obsessed with.
But the thing is that I was like kind of trying to explain like you said you don't try to say things that like cause at first, right? And so like when you are trying new stuff that doesn't quite work and you experience a bomb, it's like, you know, you're getting crickets. Like the audience just is like, sorry, we're not here for it. Like, and so, but no one is mad at you and like you fucking were boring on purpose. You know, imagine if every time you bomb like, trying new stuff, that people were like, you're not welcome back on the stage anymore. Yeah, like I have a hard time trusting you.
That's a very interesting way to put that.
Oh, I mean, it's like anxiety inducing because like the stakes for me doing well are so much higher. Yeah, I feel like before I didn't have that. Like the first 5 years I was doing it, I could fuck up and people were still supportive. But it's the attitude of the peers that's changed that is bothering me the most. Where like audience has always been that way to me. Yeah.
Well, I mean, your comedy's very polarizing. You know, there's no middle ground. It's I
don't know what you're talking about, but okay.
You know what it is. You know that the crowd loves you or they hate you.
Yes.
No one's ever like, oh, it was all right.
Yeah.
You know, it's either the older ladies that are like, I never want to see him again.
Yes.
Or it's your crowd where they're like, that was hilarious.
Yeah. It's always so hard for me too whenever like, you know, you have those moments where someone recognizes you in public. You don't recognize it because they see you from the stage. Right. And they're like, I've seen you do stand up. And they start with that. And I'm like, which way is this going? Like, what did you see me do? That's always my first question after. Like, I'm always kind of like, is this going to be positive? Because it seriously is. It's mostly positive.
Right.
If someone's going to say, I've seen you do stand up, it's usually like, no, you were good when I saw you. Yeah. But there has been, I remember in Blue Post maybe like a year ago or something, I was walking to the bathrooms back there and there was some like girl that passed me in that hallway. And then she was like, I know you. And I was just like, yeah. She's like, you're that comedian. And I was like, uh-huh. She goes, you know, you're a racist and a sexist piece of shit. And I'm just like,
She waited so long to tell you that.
I was just like, yeah, you're probably right.
Like, can I just go to the bathroom now, please? Thank
you. I gotta go put my pee in the toilet.
Well, I do that. I had a lady say that to me at Poorhouse after a show one night.
Really?
And she came up to me and she, that I do that Indian Outlaw joke where I'd make fun of Tim McGraw's song Indian Outlaw about how it's terrible. The lyrics are so bad. But I'd tell that joke making fun of it, and she came up to me and she's like, that joke was racist. And I was like, the joke's about how the song's racist.
Yeah.
She's like, but still, I don't think people get that. So you just come off as racist. I was like, well, you're the only one that's ever told me that, so I don't think I do. But thank you for the feedback. Have a good one.
I enjoy these stories where like you and John Feltz have talked about being confronted for being offensive.
Yeah.
It is funny because you guys, like, when people are doing it to me, it's justified.
I can see where they're
you do have
from.
A point. I am very offensive, but like when they're doing it to you, it's like there's no way for them to not be a total fucking idiot.
If I offend you, then you don't need to go to a comedy show.
Yes.
It's just you don't need to be there.
Yes.
Like comedy ain't for you. Try something else.
Yeah.